I think this is a wonderful start for our presentation. Today's
Mhm.
topic is Amazon Strategy 2021 for private label sellers. Additional revenue. So this is the revenue that they
Mhm.
gain because of your software.
Give you a dashboard that helps you to, understand your advertising. That might be good for your company if your margin is very high, but if you can only afford a 5% margin, an ad spend, and you're at 15,
Yeah.
you know that this is a problem.
How to be successful on Amazon. Something short and exact. I didn't know that there is a software that helps you to raise prices automatically every day, even if you have 30,000 SKUs.
The boogeyman is going to come and get you.
Hi, everybody. It's Thursday again and WAPI webinars. As always, we're bringing something very special to you. And today we have invited to our webinars Jason Hanan. Hi, Jason.
How you doing, Alexander? What's going on?
Wonderful, wonderful. I'm always up to my energy when there is a webinar. I'm glad to meet the people. I'm glad to discuss some e-com stuff. And
Sure.
I'm very, very interested in what we will hear today.
Okay, that's
So,
a lot of pressure. So
yeah.
I'll try and do my job.
What about you? How do you feel yourself today?
It is early in the morning for me, 9 a.m. So I had my coffee already. So hopefully it'll kick in before the show's over.
Okay, wonderful. We are in a different time zones.
Yeah,
It's already 4 o'clock p.m. At my place now.
yeah, I would be on my third coffee. So that would.
Okay. Okay, so for everybody, I want to say that Jason Hanan cut his teeth in retail on the streets of Manhattan as owner of entertainment outlet. That was some time ago already, right, Jason?
Yes, yes. Entertainment Outlet was a music and movie store that we opened in 1996, and that's how we learned the retail business before the world of Amazon really existed.
Okay, so you were one of the first explorers of Amazon, right?
2003, we started selling DVDs and music on Amazon, which was a
Okay.
lot easier of a world back then. There weren't too many people doing it, but we definitely we learned a lot since 2003, and we were fortunate
You
enough to
must
be.
be you must be almost as rich as Jeff Bezos now.
Yeah, we were just couple dollars away. That's it.
Couple dollars difference.
It's a tight race, but he's in the lead still. So.
Okay. So, and in 2014, you opened MMX Distribution, an agency to help brands get their products successfully launched on Amazon.
That's correct. So basically, the DVD and music business, saw the end of its life coming, but we did
Mhm.
have an expertise on Amazon. So we took that expertise into helping other sellers in different industries to try and get their products listed on Amazon. And
Mhm.
we were, lucky enough, we didn't realize that we really did have an expertise in the Amazon game. And I think it
Mhm.
was really probably before agencies were even really a thing. We didn't even know we were an agency. We were
Yeah.
just helping a few friends out, and that ended up being a whole nother business,
Mhm.
and definitely what we continue to do today.
So now your main business is marketing agency.
So I guess we have a couple of main businesses. So I don't know what, depending on when we wake up in the morning, we have a different main business. But we really run two businesses at the same time, but they really work together. One is as a marketing agency, but really a full service agency for sellers to get their product listed. We handle everything from logistics, warehousing, ad campaign management, listing optimization. I mean, you pretty much name it, anything that needs to be done in order to get an Amazon store up and running, we
Mhm.
handle from A to Z. And in creating that agency and working with multiple sellers, we needed to create software in order to help us to manage these businesses and in order to
Okay.
deal with the challenges of managing different Amazon businesses. So we wrote our own software for ourselves, which we've actually been using for, since the days of 2003 between the different reporting. And that software is grown into what we now call AZ Seller Kit. So it's
Mhm.
something that we just started selling to the public a few years ago, but it is something we were using internally for many years before that. So
Mhm.
we're now running both the agency business as well as selling the software. But they really do go hand in hand because it's pretty much the same. It's
You're also a little bit an IT company.
we are a software company. We'll say 50% software and
Okay.
50% business, but it's software for the business that we run. So for us, that's what I guess makes that's what makes the software special, I think, is that we're constantly making the changes that we need for ourselves as the Amazon marketplace changes. So
Mhm.
when we make a change for ourselves, we are launching that and giving that to our customers.
Yeah.
And we're also able to listen to our customers and to listen to their needs, understand, communicate with them, probably in a better way than a lot of other people are able to do, because we really are living it, on a day-to-day basis. And when they tell us their problems, we are also able to use software to give them solutions. So now at the end of the
It's
day,
very similar to WAPI because some people think that WAPI is a logistics company, but actually we're like 80% IT company and only
that
20% logistics.
at this point, if you're not using IT to run your business, you're just falling
You're out
behind.
of the business.
Exactly. We wouldn't be in business. I'm sure you wouldn't be in business if it
Yeah.
was 20% IT, 80% logistics. Couldn't
Yeah,
help
right.
anybody.
So
So
very interesting that you have started so early, so you're helping companies already officially from 2014, and I hear that even before that there were probably some friends whom you helped to start the Amazon business. So how do you think, was it easier or more complicated back then to start Amazon trading than it is now?
oh my goodness, it was so much easier. Back then, there was so much less competition. You didn't have to. I would almost say that you felt like you were smart because whatever you put up seemed to sell. But it turned out there was just not as many other people doing it. And now, as the more competitors get into the marketplace, you realize that you have to be much, much sharper, much smarter. The only, I would say, maybe advantage that you have now over maybe 6, 7 years ago is that there's so many more tools out there to help you as a seller than there were, back in 2014.
Yeah, that's exactly why I'm asking because back then there were no tools, no service companies, nobody could help you. You had to analyze everything by yourself, and now there are like hundreds of thousands of services that can
Yeah.
help you.
But it comes with pluses and minuses, because when there were no softwares out there, if you put in the work, then you automatically won the game. So if you actually worked and got stuff listed and did a good job, you would sell product. Now it takes more than just having a nice picture and putting it up on Amazon. You really have to make sure you're in the right category, that you're keyworded properly, that you're advertising properly, and that you're that at the end of the day you make money. Because I'll tell you this much: it's not really that hard to sell product on Amazon. It is hard though to figure out how to make money doing it. So, like I said, Jeff Bezos always make money. He always makes money. But does the seller make money? That's really where you need to, you need to understand your business and make sure you're always looking at your profit margins and that you have a plan in place. Because you can definitely, if you
Yeah.
don't have a plan for when to go from growth to profitability, then you will just, be spinning your wheels, and you're better off, just doing something else than actually just selling and seeing $1 million on your at the end of the year in sales. But you might make $1,000 at the end of the year because you just didn't have a plan.
Sales growth, but no profit.
Exactly. We see a lot of it. We definitely see a lot of that, unfortunately. And it's because Amazon does a really good job of flashing numbers in front of your face. They always give you all it's like a drug. Their dashboards are all about sales, 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 and they really, they're not flashing the expenses in your face. You have to really dig deep to try and figure out, where they're charging you.
Yeah.
And that's where really you really need software to help you understand
No,
what's happening
the
what's
same
happening in your
in
business.
logistics. When I ask the vendors how much that costs to use Amazon Logistics, they say we don't know. We will see it when we receive the invoice.
Exactly. Yeah, that's basically yes, it is very similar. No one really knows what's actually, I wouldn't say no one knows. If you're not using some sort of a software tool or pretty sophisticated, Amazon doesn't make it easy for you to understand your profitability. But there's a ton of softwares out there, including ours, that really can help. It's just really a matter of, the sellers keeping their eye on the ball and, understanding that they should be in this to make money and not just to
But
have
still,
some money.
for those people who are thinking to start selling on Amazon, and now hear that it is very, very difficult and complicated and huge competition, what would you say to them?
I'd say if you're good at something, you could make money. And that, if you have an edge or you have a reason to make money, if you have a passion for a product or an understanding for a product, maybe your cost is cheaper, maybe you've created something that's better,
Mhm.
then there's a reason that the marketplace should give you profits. But if you think that you're going to make the same exact item that somebody else made and they started 2 years before, and you don't have a better cost, you don't have an innovative idea, and you
Mhm.
just want to list it because their sales rank is 1,000 and you want to make the same item, it just doesn't work that way. Like Amazon it's not that simple. You really need to look in the mirror and ask yourself, did I create a product? Do I have a reason to, in order to make money on this item? Otherwise, you definitely are going to get hurt. But that being said, there's a ton of people that have great ideas, and if you have a great idea, or and you have, for some reason, a factory that you found, or some reason why you think you can be competitive in the marketplace, there's tons of people making tons of money on Amazon. You just have to put in the work and make sure that that you're doing something better than somebody
Wonderful.
else.
I think this is a wonderful start for our presentation. Today's
Mhm.
topic is Amazon Strategy 2021 for private label sellers. So
Yeah,
if you're ready, Jason, just share it with us and let's start.
so sure. So I will, first just explain to you a little bit about what the software does and how it helps. It really ties into the conversation that we're having about profitability.
Mhm.
So our software, which is really built for private label sellers, because it's not a buy box tool as far as pricing, where there's
Mhm.
competitors on the same listing. It's a tool that's meant for private label owners who are, the only ones selling the product on that specific listing. And it's a tool that's built to help you to maximize profitability by really playing, testing, and retesting your prices to try and find the best price for your items. So very often there's two scenarios that will happen on Amazon where you should be, looking at trying to increase your retail prices potentially. And there's also times where you should be reducing your price. The first scenario is when you're running low on inventory. So this is something that if you're about to sell out of an item, and this is something that, to me seems pretty clear, there's some debate on this. But if you're just launching an item, then there's the theory out there that in the first 30 to 60 days, you do want to just sell at your highest velocity and in theory sell out of an item. But if you're not in that launch period and you're running low on your inventory, that is when we feel like you should start increasing your pricing as you're running out of stock, in order to wait till your next shipment lands. And very often what that does is it will show you first that you're able to sell product for higher retails than you might have expected. And
Mhm.
it will also keep your sales rank from falling off a cliff. Whereas if you get to zero on an item, then
Mhm.
your sales rank really drops. Or if you stay in stock, your perfect world, you want to have one piece left when your shipment lands so that you really never get to zero. And the Amazon algorithms really treat your items better if you don't actually get to zero. So
So
we
for
use
sales rank, it's better to slow down the sales than to stop it because of the out of stock, right?
Exactly, exactly. So this has multiple positive things that it'll do. First, especially if you have a variation listing where you have multiple, either colors or sizes or different things that are on the same listing. If you are out of stock, if you're selling, something where there's a black, blue, and red, for example, if the
Mhm.
black item is the most popular, you're spending advertising dollars to get people to the listing. They're looking for the black one and there's no stock there. So they've clicked on it. You've paid for that person to click on that ad, and what they want isn't actually there. So overall, we see, better conversion rates on a full listing than when you're actually in stock across the board, than when you sell out of one of potentially a better variation. So the combination of being able to increase your price and improve your ad spend really shows, definitely a nice synergy, of being able to, increase your prices and, keep your conversion rates at a better rate, especially when there's variations. So I'm just going to, let's see if we can share my screen here, and I will just give you a quick look at, I'll give you a quick look at the software so you understand what, what we do. So let me know, can you see my screen, Alex?
I see it. Wonderful.
Okay, excellent. So this is actually real data. These are real customers. So we just, we give them, this is our demo mode, but it is real data, so that all of the data that we show here, it's all scrambled. So we're keeping everybody's privacy in order. But, we do have the ability to at least explain to you the theory of how this works. So what we do up here, and you see this company just signed on 3 days ago, and they've already made an additional $663 in revenue in the last, that's basically today's April 22nd. So that's 3 days. They made an extra $600. And what we're doing with this tool is we went in and we basically had the software make decisions based both on inventory and velocity, but we'll talk about that velocity strategy in a little bit, of basically of where it should try and increase prices in order to see if they could achieve a higher margin. So this list shows that the original price was $29.99. This item particularly sold for $32.99, and we're keeping track of all of that for you so that you can have up here this nice little tile that shows you your repricing additional revenue. When we added this feature,
original price and the sale price.
Gotcha. So before we turned on the software, the customer was not updating their prices. They had their item stable at $29.99.
Okay.
That was the way that they priced their item. The software went back through their data and was trying to choose where it could actually increase some prices to try and gain some revenue. So when the software went in and raised prices, we're showing you the additional revenue that was gained by the price increase. So the software pushed the price. I'll go back and sort of show you in this short example.
Your software is automatically integrated into Amazon?
Yes. So it's pushing and changing prices on a daily or twice a day basis, depending on what makes sense for the customer in that specific industry. And it's changing. So you see this one was $28.99. The software pushed it to $29.79. Then it's going to test $29.79, see, what the velocity is at $29.79, and potentially either push up that price or lower the price depending on how the sales are doing. And we have algorithms that are looking at the last 30 days of sales, at the last 7 days of sales, and kind of, weighting each period there that we've written into the program to try and figure out always what the best price is for, the upcoming day and the upcoming period. So what that does is, really gives you, you'll see in all these little places, sometimes it might be, $1.50. Sometimes there's, smaller price increases. This is from $22.99 to $23.49. That's only a 50-cent price increase. But if you do this across your catalog, the end results are really, mind blowing. So like I said, 3 days, this customer got $663 in additional revenue. And then I'll just show you here our other customers. This is one of our first customers since September 18th. Wow. $965,000 in additional revenue.
This is additional revenue. So this is the revenue that they gain because of your software.
Exactly, correct. So if their price was $20 and now we raised it to $20.49, we're only taking credit for the 50 cents in additional revenue. So this is, so over time and across, you see this from September 18th is $965,000. This customer was, $741,000 in additional revenue, and really the list goes on. I think, and you see that this customer is so big that I think it broke the tile. They did $1 million over the last 7 days. That this thing I think is like over $1 million, and it didn't run this morning for whatever reason. But this additional revenue tile has really
how do you analyze whether the amount of sales drops because of your raising the prices?
So beautiful question. So the first part is if you're doing this inventory-based solution where we're just trying to, keep you in stock until, your next shipment lands, we give you a few ways that the software can do it. So you as the customer can choose and say, if I drop below 7 days of supply, then start raising the prices. If I drop below 14 days, 20 days, and we usually recommend that it's however far away your next shipment is from landing at Amazon, that's really where you should put that number. And the software really just has a tool that's figuring out if you're selling 10 pieces a day and you have 100 pieces left in stock, that means you have 10 days of supply. So if you drop below that, then the software is going to raise the price. But if your velocity now drops off and your sales go to zero, then it's going to see that 100 pieces of inventory, you now have 5 pieces left. Now if you're selling 5 per day, now you have 20 days of inventory. If you have 20 days of inventory, now that's more than I wanted. So the software will start reducing the prices. So that's the one out of stock theory. The other theory, and the way that we have the software tool check for pricing, is what we call velocity repricing, where it's targeting what your current velocities actually are, and it is trying to see if increases in prices will actually affect your velocity. Very often on Amazon, we find that when you raise your prices, your velocity actually won't change. It either won't change, or sometimes the velocity will increase due to the perception of value. So the software is going to test higher prices, ignore your inventory, and just try and figure out between your catalog, if when these prices increase, how does it affect your velocity, and if it changes.
The problem, it's like tests, make a test raise of the price and analyzes the velocity, and then comes back, and if it works out, does it for the second and third time.
Exactly, correct. So it's going to do that across your catalog. And when you do that across your catalog, you'll find, winners and losers basically in that equation. Some items react well to price increases. Other items don't react well to price increases. So the software will, we give the customer the option to see how aggressive they want to go as far as pricing. Then if they choose to go aggressive, then it's going to try and push, for longer. They choose to go conservative, it, won't push as hard on trying to increase those prices. And if the velocity went from 10 per day to 9 per day, then the software will see that's going in a bad direction. Let's bring the price back down to where it was before. But if you're at 10 per day and you're still at 10 per day, or potentially 11 per day, it's going to keep creeping up the prices in small increments to see if you can achieve a higher price point and ultimately a higher margin. And what we recommend, the best use case of the software, which is how people are really making tons of additional revenue, is if you see that you are able to increase your price, that gives you more margin to spend money on advertising. So if you see that perfect world where your prices increased and your advertising conversions, stayed the same, or sometimes, get better, you now have the ability to spend more money because your margin is there. So perfect world, an item selling for $20, now it's selling for $25. Instead of taking that $5 and putting it in your pocket, we really recommend that you take some of that additional revenue, pour it into advertising, and now get your item closer to page one. So if you're able to continue to do that,
it sounds like something mind-blowing. I've never thought that I'll hear it like this. But where is the trap? Where is the trap?
Where is the trap? So there's, I'll tell you where it doesn't work. Right, there are times where it's not. We have over 100 sellers at this point. It's probably like 150 something or whatever it is that we have of people attached to the software, and we've had failures. And where does it not work? There are specific industries that are crazy price competitive. We've seen it not work in two places. One, with headphones and these electronics accessories, where if you're at $9.99, and you have no one else on your listing, you'll make tons of sales. If you go to $10.49, it falls off a cliff. Like there are specific categories that are so price sensitive that increasing the price by small increments, but we say there's no price elasticity, on those specific items, which happens. Other places where it's been a challenge is food. The food industry and things where there's subscribe and save. Subscribe and save is where the customer will if you're buying coffee beans, let's say, like I have Starbucks delivered to my house, once a week, we have those coffee beans come. If you have your price at, $20 for a set of, coffee beans, and then the software raises it from 20 to 21 to 22 to 25, the customer who's set on subscribe and save is going to be upset that the price was increased on them. So they like to see more price stability on items like that. But what the tool is really, looking at is trying to figure out is for your specific category. And we do have a lot of different categories on the software. So we kind of know before the customer calls for a demo, is it going to work or not? And if there is price elasticity, in that usually marketplace, it's almost, a no-brainer. Like the pricing of the software is super cheap compared to what we're putting out there. And the reason why we did that is because we were buying software from other people for years, to try and help our business. And we know the pain points, and we're selling it the way we want to be sold. So ultimately, if you're paying, $600 a month for something that's giving you, this person is in a free trial of 14 days, they will ultimately end up paying $600 a month, and they've made $600 of additional revenue in 3 days. So we know that this customer is going to sign on.
Probably you charge like the percent of additional revenue, right?
No, we don't. No, we don't. That's what some of our competitors do. We don't, because we don't believe that we should be partners in your business. You made your business, and God bless you. That's your money. For us, we sell a software tool, and we have no right being a partner in your business. So the additional revenue is yours, and that's it. You just pay for the use of the software. We have no contracts. There's no whatever. If at the end of the month you're not happy, cancel. It's fine. Like we only want you to use it if it's actually working for you and if it's actually making you money. And that is.
But you see, you named only two niche that. It sounds like it doesn't work there. Maybe there are more, but as I understand you, 80% of other stuff can be sold and used with your program, right?
Sure. Yes. I mean, and we have people that are even in those other industries that will use the software and not have the repricing tool turned on, but use the other tools that we have on here. So there's
how is done the integration? Is integration easy to my Amazon account? How is that?
So yeah, basically there's Amazon has a place in their backend, which we or any other software companies that do this, send you a link. You basically authorize this software with what's called an Amazon token. So that token authorizes us to pull your data and sync with your data. And it takes a day or two for us to sync your data. And once that token is connected, we're able to go back as far as we want. We usually go back 18 months into the account. If customers need more data for whatever reason, we can go back further and have all of these data points that that we have to look at. We can present to the customer, and it just takes a couple days to sync data. So
wonderful. Sounds great.
Yep. Great. So I'll move on to the next topic, which is fun, which is part of what the way we really like to analyze our business and analyze our advertising spend is, and we're not an ad campaign software. I'll say we're not an ad campaign software yet. Maybe at some point we will help to manage people's ad campaigns, but we do like to give you a dashboard that helps you to understand your advertising. I should probably look at this account. I will look at this account for fun. So this account, basically, we give you all of these data points in ad spend, conversion rates, clicks, total ad spend, and all of these different things on your dashboard. But what's important is there's ad spend by SKU, which we allow you to generate, so you can really, understand your business and really analyze what's happening, with your items. So again, this is a new account. I've honestly not even, looked at this ad spend, and by analyzing your, ad spend data, most people are using software, to help them with ad spend, or, if they're doing it manually or someone else might be managing their account. You really need the tools to help you to understand what's happening on an item level with your business. So in here, we're giving you the ability to see, over the last 30 days, what what your ad spend was, what your ACOS is on your items, your tacos, the impressions, clicks, what your attributed sales are. And really what's most important to us here is really down here is this ability to see how much inventory, you have, and to see if you should be continuing to actually advertise these items. So if this is a big thing for us. Like if this customer is, at zero, basically, they sold out, they probably should have turned off their ad campaigns much earlier than what we're seeing here potentially. So, if they're at zero, they have here, 10 pieces left. This is basically a signal to them that if they're spending, tons of money on this, that they should slow down their ad spend because they don't have any inventory left. So, this really gives you the ability to understand and, see what your ACOS is, what your tacos is, and to, target where you need to potentially increase some ad spend. So, if you're going to...
It's not possible to automatically stop the ad spends, right?
There are other softwares out there. We've tried many of them, but I'll say that we're yet to find an automated tool that really, I'm going to say that we like, that really allows you to pick your, inventory levels that you want, and to make those, to make decisions for you based on inventory. It just seems, what most of the tools will tell you is that, when you run out, the ad campaigns stop. Like, you can't spend money if you're at zero. So, but that really is not, that's already too late in our opinion. So we're really constantly, looking at the, I'm going to try and show you on a different account here. And this is a bigger account of when the ad spend by parent. And this is really much more important to understand. So on this, to us, is really what a lot of these other softwares don't necessarily do either. And when you are advertising on a parent ASIN means that there's, multiple variations on a listing. So if you have, the pair of pants, let's say, and there's, 10 colors, 10 sizes, 4 colors, 4 sizes, you really need to analyze your ad spend on a parent level. Because if you're not looking at that in total, then, the fact that you are looking at one variation only in a listing is really confusing you, because that one variation might look like it's doing, phenomenal, but when you look at the ad spend of the other, 3 items on the listing, it's doing terrible. So we really, like to push this viewpoint of understanding, overall on a variation, what's happening. So this is like a full parent listing here. And, it gives you the sales by variation, how many units, have been sold in this period, what your inventory levels are, so that you can actually understand and say, hey, here's my days of supply in total on this variation. If I have 76 days of supply, then that's something that's, we should be advertising. That's good. If I have 0 left, this is something that, we, maybe shouldn't be advertising unless we really are happy with our FBM. And this basically shows you your FBM inventory. Some accounts are happy to, be selling FBM. Other accounts will not want to push sales through FBM because it's a little bit harder, to make the sales. So, this also gives you the amount of child ASINs that exist in a variation. So this is showing you that between your 57 child ASINs, you have 47 in stock, which is, that, again, it depends on the customer. So this gives you the percentage. 82% of those ASINs are available. So you should continue to push sales on, to push advertising to try and drive traffic. Whereas maybe on something that you have 64%, maybe this is something that you're going to be suffering by, spending too much money on advertising, because potentially, your best item in that variation may not be there. So this is definitely an alarm bell to say, okay, let me at least review the items that are on this parent SKU and understand and see, should I continue to advertise these items? Should I dial down the ad spend? Does it make a difference which ones are out of stock? But at least you're getting a window into looking at your advertising spend on a parent listing. And that is that's something for us that is our main, the main thing that we really try and explain to our accounts as they're hooking into the software. And we deal, fortunately, with most of the sellers that we deal with are quite sophisticated, because the tool, we can see from some of the numbers that are there, most of the people that are using the software are doing at least $500,000 a year or more. We make the joke it's a business intelligence software, but if you want business intelligence, you have to have a business. So no business, no intelligence, we can't help you. So it's here, and a lot of our customers are doing manual spreadsheets and have their own ways of trying to figure out this data if they don't have a software tool to help them to do it. And they're usually, very excited and happy that we're able to give them this data by parent ASIN, so that they can actually finally see, what is my, Tacos's total ACoS. And that means if you spent $100 and you did $1,000 in sales, that your total ACoS on that would be 10%, because you had to spend $100 in order to make $1,000 in sales. And for us, we really think that it's more important than ACoS, as far as we feel, because so much of Amazon is built on algorithms and Amazon seeing that an item is actually selling. So if you were able to create sales by spending money on advertising, that ultimately will lead to more sales that are organic or not through advertising. So trying to understand your parent SKUs and your variations on a parent level to look at that total ACoS is really gives you that window to understand, where you potentially have, if your total ACoS is 15%, that might be good for your company if your margin is very high. But if you can only afford a 5% margin, and an ad spend, and you're at 15, that this is a problem. And something needs to change. Either prices need to increase, sales, your ad spend needs to go down. But we try and give you the tools to make pricing decisions and to make ad spend decisions, based on your inventory levels and these different data points that we give you, and try and let you understand and look at. So that's a very brief
Here we
look
see
under.
the first part was about when you are going to run out of the inventory, you have possibility to raise the prices. The second part is when you come near to out of the stock, you can stop spending money on your ads. That also brings you additional revenue, right?
Correct, exactly. And that really it goes back to the beginning of the conversation we had, is that, we were always, business owners first. So as business owners, you're always looking at, ultimately it's the money that you have in the bank. And if you're not trying to figure out how to, make money, then you're, God bless, some people have, this is their second business or a side business. For us, it was always our primary business. So we had to figure out how to make money. So everything that we do is driven by, profits, and, you always want to try, and the goal is, how can I make the most profits without affecting my sales ultimately? So this is definitely one of the main things that we focus on, especially during COVID, where inventory is tougher to come by. Amazon's warehouses are slow. All of the supply chain, I'm sure from whatever logistics you're dealing with, the supply chain is a total train wreck. So with inventory being tough to source and tough to find, you really have to maximize whatever you have, and try and figure out how to squeeze every last dollar out of the inventory that's doing well. And these tools are in place to help you to do that at the end of the day. And I'll say, even if you don't have software at the end of the day, like if you have an account that has 3 items or 5 items, of which there are tons, you don't need software to do this. Like, you should be trying this on your own, testing and retesting pricing, looking at your inventory levels, playing with your ad spend. It's something that people are usually afraid to mess with something, because they feel like, if I raise a price, I'm not sure what'll happen. And we really do, try and push people who, people will call us and, I'll have conversations with them. I'll look at I was like, you don't really there's no reason to use the software for, 2 items. Like you can take these ideas and eventually when you grow or when, if you add more items, call me when you have a bigger catalog and we'll
At
try
what
and help.
point it is reasonable to start using the software?
I would say depending on, the sales velocity of your items, when it gets annoying for you to go into go into your Seller Central backend and change prices on a daily basis, like some people have the bandwidth to do it with 20 items. Other people, when they get to 4 or 5, they just can't handle it anymore. And they say, just like, I'd rather a software tool, handle it for me. And, it can be, the software should be smarter than me, so to say. But I don't even believe that. Like, I don't think that the software is smarter than any individual. We really just try and let the individual put what's in their head into the software. We have, a lot of different rules and parameters that we let the, customer put in order to allow them to, do what they would have wanted to do if they could spend every minute of every day looking at the pricing. So, if you could, great, but there's, limited time in the day. So we try and
in result, most of your clients, they are using system without your help, or you always give some sort of key account manager who helps clients.
So usually the first, I'm going to say 14 to 30 days, we're definitely, very hands-on. We like to make sure that the customer understands how to use it and they're using it properly. People usually have a lot of questions and we're always available, in order to help. After probably the first month, then we will maybe get questions, I'll say once every couple of weeks or once a month, people will reach out as they start to try and use a new feature, or if we release a new feature, we'll get some questions. But it's usually, I'm going to say 15 to 30 days of, onboarding where, they maybe need a support call, once or twice a week to try and make sure they understand what's happening. And after that, we don't hear from them for quite some time. But we're always available and, happy to, happy to hear what people are thinking and happy to hear how they're using it. And for me, it's really I enjoy it very much when people are, the intelligent Amazon sellers that are out there that are using the software really give us so many ideas of how we can improve. And we really rolled in tons of ideas that people have given us into the software. And it's really because we're just on the phone with people all day long. And
this is the way how everything is developed. You receive feedback from your clients and you make additional developments, and here it is, the program.
Exactly, and it's still growing. Like there's no end in sight. Like our developers asked us, when do you think we'll be finished? I thought by 2030 we should be done. That's it. That's it. Like it doesn't end. Like Amazon changes, the marketplace changes, and there's always different.
2030, you will decide to do it for not only for Amazon but for 10 more marketplaces.
Exactly. Then we'll find another one. We'll find something else. Start with Walmart. I mean, there's right now, and people will honestly ask me like, why don't you have this for Walmart.com and other marketplaces yet? And my answer so far is really because I don't really know that marketplace myself. So until I really learn and understand that marketplace and can be an expert in the Walmart marketplace, I'm really can't develop a software that is better than whatever anybody else has. So like this, I've been doing forever. And
I understand it very much because every week I receive a question from the clients, why don't you have United States of America in your fulfillment network? And I'm saying, hey guys, I have so much work here in Europe yet. I can't add every country that you are asking me. Let me finish the Europe first, and then I'll add United States of America and the other countries, but step by step, please.
Exactly. I want to be the best at what I know and what I can be. And when we're finished with that, I'll move on to the next. But it doesn't look like we're going to be, finished anytime soon with the improvements that you can make, with for an Amazon business, for, Amazon sellers. It's endless really. So, and it's also fun. So that's also part of it. This I love. I don't know if I would love learning Walmart.com. I'd be like going back to school, but this is what I know. So it's
So
I
we have
enjoy it.
one topic left because we're time boxed.
Sure.
Does your software or maybe you have prepared something more the next step or it is over?
I guess the last thing that I think is important to understand about your business, and this is
Uh-huh.
probably pretty quick, is just understanding an account's financials. So when a customer puts in their cost of goods into the software, and this is sort of what we were talking about before, it is important, we believe, to really analyze your business by your settlements and to attach a cost of goods to your sales. So in this example, I'm just going to show you what an account's sales look like in this is actually the middle of the month. Let me do the entire month. So this is for this account, looks like this is the month of March. So you'll see in the month of March, this
Mhm.
is the sales total. Does this account have cost of goods in here? Let's
Wow,
see.
the accounting is
Yep.
beautiful.
So exactly. So this basically gives you the ability to see every everything that has happened on Amazon and every expense that they charge you is
Mhm.
basically in here. So the important thing that we've done is we've attached a cost of goods to your reports so that you can
Mhm.
actually understand what your profitability is. So you can see this account is people as the people make money on Amazon. Yes, they have, $3 million in profit. That is here. This shows you their net margin, their ROI after cost.
Wow.
So this,
Are
gives
this
you
are these more numbers real?
these numbers are real. Yes, these numbers are
64%
real.
net margin and
And
265 return on investment.
these are, yeah, I mean, these guys are rock stars. Like they've been doing it for a long time.
Okay.
And these numbers are real. I mean, and this is like what these guys have been in business for, I think 7 or 8 years
Best
on Amazon.
motivation for everybody to start
Yep.
trading in Amazon.
Exactly that and these numbers are real at the end of the day. So, that's really, but if you don't see it and you don't know it, and then, I don't
Mhm.
know if this, let me look at this other seller. I don't even know what these guys' numbers are.
How many
Um,
SKUs do they have?
they have about, I don't know, probably like 30,000 SKUs that,
30,000.
yeah, there's, which is also why they need software to help them manage pricing. Because if you, how do you manage pricing? But those guys are, should I say, they're smart enough to. This is picking up their. I have to refresh here. No, let's see. But I have to refresh the data to get to this account. We'll find this 140. I'm curious myself what this new account's profitability looks like because we just signed them. So we'll see what this looks like here in March. Let's see how they did. So these guys have their cost of goods down here, and this is more realistic. These
Yeah.
guys, their net margin is 3%. So that's and that's also why the phone rings. They know that they're not necessarily making money, so they need to try and turn on. They need to do something to change so that they can actually start to make money. So that's when they call. How can I raise my prices? How can I,
Do
what?
you have here some Amazon fines, like for storage, too long storage?
Yeah, I mean, all that stuff is basically, in here. Any fee that they charge you is
Yeah.
basically going to be added in here. So, over the course of the month, you'll see there, here's your commissions, here's your fulfillment fees, this is customer returns. There's, let's see, this is how much money they spent in ads. Here's your FBA storage fees. It's $435 in storage fees, how much they spent on freight. So, anything in red is basically what they're being charged for, a labeling fee they're being charged for. So all of these fees are basically taken into account. And at the end of the day, this customer probably doesn't even know, what their margin actually is because
Mhm.
they don't have a tool. So now, we've given them this tool. They know that they don't have enough money in the bank. So that's why the phone rings. They want to do better. So, they'll call, and they'll try and figure out what can they do to actually. So we have sales. How do we take sales and turn sales into actual profitability? And that's, generally when our phone will ring. And then the hope is that, we're starting in the middle of April with them. By the end of May, the hope is that these numbers will go from, a net margin of 3% to maybe, 6, 8, 10, and they work their way up the ladder.
Have to slightly adjust the software so that it will raise the prices twice.
Yeah, I don't know if not quite yet. I don't know if not that simple, but
okay,
yeah, but
that
really is
it would be wonderful if you stop sharing the screen so that
sure.
we will see our faces.
Okay, well, at least one out of our two faces is good enough.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Thank you. And the tool, I didn't know personally because I'm not trading. I'm doing the FBM and fulfillment network in Europe. So I didn't know that there is a software that helps you to raise prices automatically every day, even if you have 30,000 SKUs.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably it is almost impossible to do it manually, right?
Correct. Yeah, at that point, yeah, no, not happening. So there, so there. I mean, there, but it's. I give them credit because they were running their business, and you see, extremely profitable for many years. And they were trying to do it in some way, shape, or form manually. And we got in touch with them. They found us through a friend of a friend, and they said, we understand what you're doing. We want to try it. And doing the amount of business that they're doing, the fact that they're looking to improve and make change. If I was making that kind of money, I would not be. I would be somewhere else and think that I'm the smartest person in the room. But they actually really have and had an open mind to give software a chance, and it's and they love it, and it's working out for them.
Okay. So to finish our webinar, I will ask you the 3 questions. The first one will be in the result. After our webinar, something short, a takeaway for everybody. How to be successful on Amazon. Something short and exact.
Make sure that your profitability is always on your mind. And if it's not on your mind, you should, shorter version, define success by profits, not by sales. And then you have a chance to be successful.
Great. The second question is what not to do to never. I saw it in my life. I saw these mistakes that people do when go on Amazon. What not to do?
Don't try and cheat the system. Don't try and manipulate reviews. Don't try and go against terms of service. Try and stay clean. Because if you build a business that's built on, they say black hat tactics or things that aren't, above board, then you can't sleep at night. The boogeyman is going to come and get you. And at some point, Amazon will find you, and it's just not worth living your life that way. Build the business the right way, and you will sleep well at night.
Cool. And the third one is how to be successful in business in general, not connected exactly with Amazon or anything, just in business.
You have to be open-minded. You have to be able to roll with the punches, and you have to be willing to change. The world changed. We had a pandemic for the first time in 100 years. Absolutely. And who would have predicted? And you have to be willing to adapt and change and learn from other people who are smarter. I think it was, I don't remember who, but one of the Warren Buffett or one of those guys is, if you're the smartest person in the room, it's a problem. So you need to find people that are smarter than you. You need to learn from other people, and that's the best way to be successful ultimately.
Cool. Thank you very much, Jason.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks. Very, very valuable information today. So maybe you want to tell something for those who will view the webinar, who use the webinar right now, who will view the video on YouTube. Why should they contact with you?
Yeah, so you can go to azsellerkit.com. That's our website. We have a lot of videos on there that really go into more detail than we even went today, that show you each one of the features of the site. And it's free trial. There's no contracts, no commitments. there's really just nothing to nothing to lose to giving it a swing and see if these concepts will work for your business. If not, don't pay and turn it off. But we fortunately have a very high success rate. It's just a matter of getting out there and talking to people like you to help us, let people know what we're doing. So I appreciate you taking the time and giving me the platform to speak.
I'm sure people should try to use your program.
No, thank you.
Cool. So everybody else who needs help in fulfillment in Europe, who don't like FBA for some reason, and you want another alternative, you've got WAPI fulfillment. We've got 14 warehouses all over the Europe, 24, 48 hours delivery in every country. So we will be glad to help you. We've got Amazon preparation centers in Germany. And please, any questions, any issues you've got about logistics, contact me, contact WAPI, and we will help you. And of course, stay tuned. Every Thursday, we've got WAPI webinars. Thank you, Jason. Thank you,
Thank you, Alexander. I appreciate it. Take care. Bye.